Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteem Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed all-new Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteem Season of the Witch Girl at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. One of my longtime viewers wanted me to talk about telling the truth and talking about the reality about a situation they were having in a class. Now, this viewer was in a class and was talking about how Islamic women are allegedly mistreated by Muslim men, and she says she had a disagreement with a female classmate who says that she was saying things about the mistreatment of Islamic women based on what Western media has presented, and wanted me to talk about the reality about situations regarding people. Now, when it comes down to this situation, I would advise the viewer to basically understand that a lot of things that we hear about different cultures in the media basically is based from a Western perspective, and when it comes down to that Western perspective, they will see the way these women are being presented as being abused, and the only way to get an actual insight into the women of that culture is not through what you've heard in media, but to go talk to women who are a part of the Islamic faith. This is how you would get an actual picture of what life is like for women who are Islamic and the way of life that they're living, because a lot of Western media, it presents a lot of misinformation regarding the reality of women who are living on the culture of Islam. When it comes down to Western media, it sees those women through the Western lens and doesn't see these women through the Eastern lens. So the only way to learn about what these women are going through is to sit down and talk to those women. And possibly there are some women who are a part of the Islamic faith who are attending that school or are in the area, and you can sit down and take a minute to have a conversation with them about their culture and their way of life. Because when it comes down to women who are a part of the Islamic faith, you have to understand that there are multiple religions in Islam, and with there being multiple religions in Islam, such as Sunni, such as Shia, and Sharia, and the whole concept of Sharia law, again, there are lots of different concepts with different cultures, and the only way to get an understanding of what's going on with these women is to sit down and talk to those women if they are open to have that discussion. And that's how you gain an understanding of how these women are living to make an assessment about how they're being treated. Now, a lot of Western people would sit there and say, oh, these Islamic women are being mistreated. However, when you have done research on the culture of Islam, you understand that it's not really what we think is mistreatment, but when it comes down to these women, they are following the religion of Islam, and under the religion of Islam, the woman is to submit to the authority of the men, and as she's submitted to the authority of the men, she is following the order of God, because according to the Islamic faith, the woman is supposed to be submitted to the authority and leadership of that man. And to many Western women who have been indoctrinated into the culture of feminism, many of the women who are a part of Western culture, to them, this would appear to be abuse. This would appear to be that this woman is appearing to be mistreated by that man, and as related to him going out here and giving her orders and making and dictating to her as related to life. However, this is what this woman agreed to, and the collective of women of the culture agreed to when they decided to commit to that faith, when those Islamic women decided to commit to that faith, this is the decision that they made and the choice that they made. And the great irony here is that many of the Western women, they will sit there and say that these women are being mistreated, but when in actuality, these women are not being mistreated. What is happening here is that these women are following their religion, which is what they have the right to do under our U.S. Constitution. What they have the right to do under our laws is to follow their faith and have the freedom to express their religion. That is the standard that was established by our law, and it may appear that, oh, these women are being mistreated by most of us Western people because women in America have more rights than any woman in the world outside of ancient Egypt, because the only country that ever gave women those type of rights was ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, a woman had the freedom, just like America, where they could own property, they had autonomy over themselves, and they had choices. Now, the only choice that they respected was to submit to the leadership of the men. But the whole thing is those women had that autonomy, and this is something many Western women don't understand. They just don't understand how the culture of Islam operates because, again, under the culture of Islam, Islamic women basically are living under a different culture, and it's one that many women, especially many feminist indoctrinated women, do not understand. And since they do not understand that culture, they think, oh, this woman is being mistreated, when in actuality she is following her faith. And as she's following her faith, this is the reality that's going on, a reality that many Western women don't understand. And since they don't understand it, they think that this woman is being mistreated, and that's not the case at all, because the reality is that this woman is making a choice to be submitted to that man. This is part of her religion. This is part of her culture. This is part of her tradition. This is a way of life for women under Islam and in Islamic countries. Women in Islamic countries are following a cultural standard, and that is the reality they want to live in. And that may appear again to be abusive in the eyes of a Western woman, because Western women have a lot more freedoms and more autonomy than women under Islam. But what those women in Islam are doing is surrendering to God and looking to serve God. And how they serve God is by looking to serve the man. And they look to serve the man by submitting to his authority. And he may appear to be a harsh authority figure compared to the Western man, but this is the culture and way of life that she wants to live. And again, as she's living in her country, this is her right as being part of that country. It may not appear fair to us in the West, but this is the standard and way of life for those under Islam. And again, you have to respect what it is, and the only person who could basically explain this in better detail would be a woman who is of Islam, a woman from Islam and practices the faith of Islam. She can go in depth and explain how it goes between men and women, because when it comes down to their culture, what we consider to be mistreatment is a way of life for them, and considered to be a way of life that only they know about. I would advise not only to go talk to women of Islam, but also go read and do research on Islamic culture, and you'll find that it is very diverse. It is very, very diverse. There's different, again, faiths and different ideas as related to the interpretation of the Quran. And to get an understanding is to, again, learn about the culture, because, again, the reality of the situation is we don't know much about it unless we talk to someone. The only way you can learn about a person's culture is to talk to that person, because that person is living in that culture. That person is living that way of life. That person is living in the culture and practicing that religion. So that person can give you a better detailed understanding of what they believe and why women behave the way they do. And the way they behave and the way they live may appear to be odd to many Western women, because Western women basically, again, take their freedoms in this country for granted. They take their freedoms from the way of life. And again, when it comes to the viewer, I want them to, again, they say that they were in the issue with this person. They didn't want them to send them any more comments. I think that they need to go out here and really be a bit more open to people, because, again, the reality of the situation is that you need to learn a bit more about cultures, because what we in the West would consider to be mistreatment, the women in Islam have a different viewpoint. They are, again, submitting to their man, submitting to the leadership of the men in their community, because the rules work very different in Islamic communities. The men, it's a very patriarchal order, and the women are submitted to the men. And as they submit to men, they do this out of respect for God. They do this because this is what they want to do in respect to Allah, and show respect to Him, and as related to their service to the man. And again, we don't know where their culture is or what it's about, but the only way to learn about that culture is to talk to people. Again, talk to people as related to things, because the media will tell you, oh, this woman is being mistreated because the media in America is gynocentric. The media in America is feminist, and the feminist wants to have all of this ability to be free. They want women to be out here running wild. But in other cultures, the women, again, are a bit more demure. They are respectful of the men and follow the lead of those men. They see those men in a different way than Western women do, because feminism has taught Western women that they don't need to value men. They don't see man as a head. They don't see men as leaders or authority figures. No, they basically see men in a way that they are tools that they can get from point A to point B. But that is not the way it operates with those who follow Islam, where the man is considered to be respected, where the man is considered to be authority. The man is considered someone who they submit to and, again, yield to by choice. This is something many Western women have a problem with, but it's something, again, that the viewer, I'm telling them, again, go watch the videos from Muslim women, go talk to Muslim women and learn about their culture, learn about them, because what we consider to be mistreatment, this is how women have lived in that culture for centuries. And again, they are focused on different things like marriage and family, and they so focus on marriage and family in that culture, and that's how it is. And again, it's different regions. One nation may be different from another, and that's how it is in those countries. No different than the U.S., Canada, the U.K., Italy, and different countries. Different cultures have different beliefs and different ideas, and you have to sit there and, again, get a better understanding of people and their cultures. You have to get in a culture and understanding, and again, that takes time. And what the viewer, again, has to do is understand that, again, you know, the reality is that you have to go beyond things. And if you're in college, you're going to hear from different people and different viewpoints, and you have to respect those people and those opinions, because that's all about the learning process. It's all about learning and growing and learning more about people and learning more about people and learning about how they live and how they have their way of life. Now, this was a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video, you can drop a donation for a minimum of $15 to the PayPal or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box, and if I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. And if you want to pick up some of my books on the SJS Direct imprint, you can find those books in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com, and you can also find them at digital platforms like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA from the Black Boule in this action-packed all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.